Hi guys, let's start about the part 2 of the chapter 8, Human Health and Diseases. Now we're going to talk about the topic immunity. What is immunity? The ability of body to fight the disease causing microorganisms or the pathogens is called the immunity. Immunity is of two types. One is innate and another is acquired. Likewise, I explained you about the term innate in my previous video. The term innate means which is present right from our birth. The same thing appears here. Innate immunity is present in our body from the time of the birth. And it is non-specific. What is non-specific? It is not specific to any pathogens in the world. There are four types of barriers under innate immunity. First one is physical, the second one is physiological, third one is cellular, the fourth one is cytokine. Now let's learn about the barriers and where is it present in our body. Physical barrier. It is present in the skin and the mucosal coating of respiratory, gastrointestinal and urogenital tracts, which prevents entry of microbes or pathogens into our body. The second one is physiological barrier. This physiological barrier is present in stomach where acid is produced, saliva which is produced by the salivary glands inside our mouth, and tear from our eyes which is produced by tear gland. The third one is the cellular barrier. Blood which is present in our body has some sort of cells called leukocytes, which is nothing but WBCs. There are certain type of WBCs called polymorphonuclear leukocytes. It is also called as PMNL neutrophils, monocytes, and certain macrophages which is present in our tissue which phagocytose the microbes. There are other natural killers as well present in our blood, which is also a type of or a kind of lymphocytes. The fourth one is cytokine barriers. There are special proteins called interferons which are secreted by the virus infected cells, which protects the non-infected cells from viral infection. Now let me explain about the acquired immunity. This type of immunity is acquired over the period of time by an individual. Say for example, whatever immunity we have acquired or got after the birth throughout our life is called as acquired immunity. It is characterized by the memory. When our body encounters a pathogen for the first time and it produces a response called the primary response. This primary response is of low intensity. When the same pathogen re-enters our body, a highly intensified secondary, or it's called as anamnestic response, which is produced. This is due to the memory our body acquired during the final or before encounter. The acquired immunity has two types of cells. One is B lymphocytes and another is T lymphocytes. B lymphocytes secrete a protein called antibodies in response to the pathogen. Antibodies are specialized with 4 peptide chains. 2 are light chains and other 2 are called heavy chains, hence denoted as H2L2. The antibodies produced in our body are IgA, IgM, IgE and IgG. What is this Ig? Ig is nothing but immunoglobulin. Now, these antibodies are present in the blood, hence called as humoral immune response. This is one of the two acquired immune response, antibody mediated. The another one or the second one is called as cell mediated immunity, shortly called as CMI. Here the T lymphocytes mediates the CMI. This CMI response helps the body to differentiate between the self and non-self in case of graft or transplant rejection. Now, why is it that organs cannot be taken from just anybody? Any grafts from just any source would be rejected sooner or later if it is not checked properly by the doctors. Tissue matching, blood grouping matching are essential before undertaking any sort of grafts or transplants, and even after this, the patient has to depend on lifelong immunosuppressants for life. Now, let's learn about the differences between the active immunity and the passive immunity. Naturally acquired immunity produced in the host body in response to an antigen is called as active immunity. For example, when a host is exposed to antigens, which is living or dead microbes or other proteins where the antibody is produced in our body, such immunity is called as active immunity. Whereas when ready-made antibodies are given directly to protect the body against the foreign agents like pathogens or antigens, such immunity is called as passive immunity. I can give you two examples. One is the mother's milk, which is very essential for the newborn infant because the mother milk contains a yellow fluid called colostrum, colostrum, during the initial stages of the lactation period, which is rich with antibody IgA, which protects the infants. Same thing when the fetus also receives the same sort of antibodies from the placenta. This is a very good example for passive immunity. Now, let's learn about how does the vaccination help. Vaccines are nothing but inactivated pathogens. These inactivated pathogens, when introduced in the body, produce a primary immune response and antibodies are produced against the pathogen. Now, here there are two types of cells produced. One is the memory B and the T lymphocytes or the cells. Now, when the pathogen again attacks the same person, memory B and T cells generate a massive immune response and the pathogen is killed. Even in the snake bites, the injection which is given to the patients contains preformed antibodies or antitoxins against the snake venom. This type of immunization is called as passive immunization. Recombinant DNA technology has also allowed the production of antigenic polypeptides of pathogens in bacteria and yeast. Vaccines through this technology allows large-scale production for immunization. Example, hepatitis B vaccines are produced from yeast. Let's discuss about the problems in the immune system. The first one is allergies. The exaggerated immune response to certain antigens present in the environment is called allergies. Substances in response to which the allergy is produced are called as allergens. The examples are dust, pollen, animal dander, etc. Here the antibodies involved is IgE type. During allergic reactions, chemicals such as histamines and serotonins are released. The symptoms, which includes sneezing, watery eyes, difficulty in breathing, which is also called as dyspnea. An allergy test is performed where the patient is injected with small doses of allergens to monitor his response. There are 3 drugs which is given to subside the symptoms of the allergies. Those are antihistamines, adrenalins and steroids. The second problem is autoimmunity. In autoimmunity, body generates immune response against its own cells. The reason could be genetic and unknown reasons. The best example for an autoimmune disease is rheumatoid arthritis. Now, let's learn about the human immune system. Human immune system consists of 4 parts. The first one is the lymphoid organs, the second one is tissues, the third one is lymphoid cells, and then the fourth one is antibodies. Lymphoid organs are primarily classified into 2. The first one is primary lymphoid organ, the second one is secondary lymphoid organ. The primary lymphoid organs involves 2 parts. The first one is the bone marrow and the second one is thymus. The secondary lymphoid organ involves four parts. The first one is spleen, the second one is lymph nodes tonsils, the third one is Peyer's patch in small intestine, and the last one is appendix. In primary lymphoid organs, the immature lymphocytes are differentiated to form antigen-sensitive lymphocytes. Here, in the bone marrow, all blood cells including lymphocytes are produced, whereas in thymus, it is responsible for the maturation of T lymphocytes. Thymus is a lobed organ which is situated around the neck near the heart and keeps on reducing in size as the age increases. In secondary lymphoid organ, lymphocytes migrate after being produced or after attaining maturity. It includes spleen, a large bean-shaped organ containing lymphocytes and phagocytes which acts as filter for blood. The second one is the lymph nodes located at different points throughout the immune system. They trap the antigens present in the lymph or the tissue fluid, and these antigens cause activation of lymphocytes and generation of immune response. There is another special type of lymphoid tissue called MALT, M-A-L-T, mucosal associated lymphoid tissue. This lymphoid tissue is present in major tracts, especially the respiratory tract, the digestive tract, and the urogenital tract. Almost 50% of the lymphoid tissues constitutes in our body. Thank you.